Hey everyone. So it's been a while since I've done a video. Thought I'd do one up real quick. So some of you may or may not know I started doing some soap. And this is going to be a quick video showing you kind of the process on what I do. So I'm making up 2 pounds on this mix. So I'll be like bouncing in between the man cave down here, the kitchen, which I'll be using the microwave for, as well as the tub in the bathroom, because since it's cold outside and it's dark and I'm mixing up soap, considering I'm using lye as well, I want to make sure I'm in a ventilated area, so I'll go into the bathroom and I'll turn on the fan, the exhaust fan. So bear with me on this, guys. Like I said, been a while since I've done a video, so again, bear with me here. So let's see. Since I'm doing 2 pounds, have my handy dandy recipe right here. So for water, I need 12.6 ounces. I'm using distilled water. And it was what? 12.6. Perfect. Alright, and then, now this is, I add this to it just to add a little bit of hardness to the soap itself, but I will put 1 teaspoon of sugar for each pound mix. So considering I'm doing 2 pounds, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of sugar in here. But I'm going to also need to microwave it so the soap will dissolve, because this water's pretty cold. So, give me 1 second. I should have this stuff all on the table here, but my table is a mess down here, which I'm not going to show you because it is a mess. So, give me 1 second to grab the soap, or grab the sugar. Alright. So, teaspoon, and I got a little container of sugar here. So there's 1, and there's 2. You may wonder why I have on gloves. Since I am messing with lye, you definitely want to make sure you wear gloves while you're dealing with lye. Because lye will burn if it gets on you. You're going to want to have gloves on, preferably long sleeves as well. Usually some kind of face guard. I've got on glasses, and I've been doing this for a little bit, so I'm getting to the point to where I'm not really, where I'm comfortable enough doing this, but still safe enough not to. Now, whenever I mix the lye with the water, you'll have to pour the lye into the water, because the other way around could cause water to splash everywhere. I will have the face mask on as well. So bear with me. I'm going to go up and heat this up. Actually, while I'm right here, have my bottle of lye. I will go ahead and mix that up, and that requires 4.51. Oh, right there. Alright. And you may wonder why I don't go ahead and pour the lye into the water now. Well, the sugar will cause the lye to clump, and it won't dissolve into the water like it's supposed to. So, time to run upstairs and heat this up in the microwave real quick. Alright guys, so I usually do 30 seconds in the microwave. This will heat the water up enough to where it's warm and the sugar will dissolve in the water. As you can see, most of the sugar is already dissolved, but take a little popsicle stick, stir it up, I'll use this same popsicle stick whenever I mix in the lye. But, like I said, you want to make sure that the sugar is completely dissolved. And as you can see, it has dissolved. Alright guys, as I said, since I am in the bathroom, I got the vent on, which you can hear. And I have a mask on because this is going to let off some fumes, and you don't want to smell these fumes or inhale them. Those are also dangerous. So, now, I'll go ahead and mix in the lye with the water. Alright, so you want to pour the lye into the water. Some people say you want to pour it slow. Some people don't really say either way. But this will also heat the water up. So what I do is I go ahead and stir it. I try not to be directly over the cup whenever I stir it. Okay everybody, now we're going to move on. So I got here some coconut oil, cocoa butter, a little bit of palm oil. Palm oil I had to melt down and take out of the jug that it was in because it's almost impossible to get out of the jug. That's the jug it came in, and it is pretty solid at room temperature. So this is the stuff I'm going to have to take upstairs to melt down in the microwave. So yeah, so with the since I'm still doing the 2 pounds, we're going to do let's see, coconut oil first, and that is 8 ounces. Spoon. So palm oil. Palm oil is 4.8 ounces. Let's see how it comes out. So that is the reason I got it out of the jug, because that's just a little thick. And at least with it in this container, I can scoop it out, and it's a lot easier for me to manage. Now whenever I take this out of the microwave, I'm going to have to mix it a little bit, because the coconut butter is very hard, and they call it butter, but the coconut oil and the palm oil look more like butter than this stuff does. I'm working on getting some shelves in here, guys, so hopefully whenever I get this all set up the way I want it, it'll be a little better. So like I said, I get the big blocks of these and I bust them up, but it looks like a piece of, it smells like chocolate. It looks like a piece of white chocolate. Alright, and let's see, cocoa butter, this is going to be 3.2 ounces. I'm trying to take out some of the big pieces. I usually don't like using the big pieces because the smaller ones melt better. So 3.2, 3.2, cool. Alright. So, this I'm going to have to melt. That's what it looks like before I melt it. Alright, now we're going to go up to the microwave and continue from there. Alright guys, I'll do this one at about 30 seconds. Take it out, stir it, and then I'll put it in for another 30 seconds. Take it out and stir it. Alright, so as you can see, palm oil hasn't started melting really. Neither has the cocoa butter, but the coconut oil, as you can see, is melted pretty nicely. Alright, so you saw it after 30 seconds. I put it back in for another 45 seconds. As you can see now, the palm oil is melted, but the coconut or cocoa butter still has a ways to go. So stir it up a little bit. That kind of helps it. Alright, so I put it in there for another 30 seconds. As you can see, most of the cocoa butter's finally melted. There's still just that one chunk. So hopefully by stirring it around some, that and the heat of the oil, that will melt the rest of this down. So I will go ahead and go back downstairs to my work area, and excuse me, we'll go from there. Alright, so as you can see, it finally completely melted all the cocoa butter. And just to give you an idea, I've got a one of those laser, and room temperature is 73.4. This stuff is 147 degrees. So it's going to take a little bit to cool off. I'll probably put this in my little refrigerator I have down here to cool it down some. But it's going to be a little bit before I actually mix this together. Now I just need to figure out what fragrance I want to use. And there's monkey farts. Probably going to do monkey farts. Yeah, let's do monkey farts. Alright, so after being in the fridge for about 40 minutes, it's down to 80 degrees. So we can go ahead and continue mixing from here. Alright, so the next few steps is adding in the olive oil and the avocado oil, which this is a recipe I threw together based off of the cost of the ingredients as well as the contributing factors for each of them. Now your basic ingredients for a bar of soap is olive oil, coconut oil, lye, and water. Okay, you can add some of these other ingredients into it, and depending on what effect you're going for, you'll get different effects for it. Now, I am in no way saying that my soap will give you all of these luxurious things. However, with the mix that I have, you'll end up getting a it'll be a conditioning cleaning bar. So that's about as much as I can say. If you want, you can do some research. There are websites out there that tell you exactly what each oil has a contributing factor of. Although because of the FDA requirements, I can't say that my soap will give you all of these factors. So with the olive oil, we are at 11.2. Okay. And the avocado oil, 4.8. Now with all these ingredients, you want to make sure that you are right on with the weights, because if any of these are off, you have the possibility of either the bar not curing like it's supposed to, or you not getting the ending results that you're looking for. So, alright, so now that I have that mixed, I have this nice little scale right here I use for my weights and everything, so yeah. Alright, then this is the mix of the palm oil, coconut oil, and cocoa butter. I'll put that in there. And since I don't want anything to go to waste, alright, putting the monkey farts fragrance in there now. I usually add half an ounce for each pound the mix, and so since I'm doing 2 pounds, I'm doing 1 full ounce. Now the cool thing about this is it doesn't actually smell like farts. It smells like I wanted to say it smelled like Laffy Taffy banana, but it's not that. It's another candy that I used to eat growing up. So the reason why I'm doing this is, like I said, I'm trying to do neutral and masculine flavors, or scents, excuse me, not flavors, scents. Because but I went with monkey farts because I thought this would be a neat little bar for kids. Figured they would get a kick out of the name and they'd be more apt to want to use it. We'll see. And as I said earlier, I have some lye water that I have already mixed up. Again, I should probably have on gloves. And pouring that in there slowly. Set that off to the side. Alright. And I'm going to have some fun with this mix. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to do a swirl, but the swirl is going to be yellow and brown. I'll grab a couple mixing cups. But before I split them up into these, I got to mix up the main oil. So I got the stick mixer. This is going to mix it up and help me bring it to trace. When I get it to trace, I'll show you what it looks like. I want to go to a light trace though, because I am splitting this up and trying to do a swirl. So this is where I'm at right now, and as you can see, there's a trace already. It's a little bit thicker than I want it to be, but that's where we're at right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'll separate this into the 2 mixing cups. I'll add in my mica, and then I'll mix those, and then I'll mix all of it together. And what I'll do is, since this is 2 pounds, I'll start off with 8 ounces into each mixing cup and go from there. Or I should say I'll pour half into one and half in the other. And if you decide to ever do this, you'll understand why I say it like that, because eventually all of the writing on your mixing cups is going to come off. That is because of the lye that's in the mix. Now, this is going to be kind of funky here, so let's try this. So as you can see, I've got the mica mixed or dropped into the top. And what I'm going to do is I'll mix these up again with the stick blender. And alright, so this is pretty thick right now, so I'm brushing, or well, I say brushing, but I'm wiping off the stuff that's on here. As you can see how thick this is, it's like cake icing. The easiest thing I can compare it to. So it's a little thicker than I wanted it to be. Definitely a lot thicker than I wanted it to be, not just a little. And I didn't get quite the yellow I'm looking for, but I have used this brown before, and I know I'll get the brown color I'm looking for using this. So there. Now, as you can see, this looks like pudding. Now again, whenever you're working with this, if you decide to do one of these, this is not the only how-to video out there. However, this is the way I do it. I've done a couple of different ingredients trying to figure out my my be-all end-all soap recipe. Ooh, it is messy. So that's how I came up with this, is going through doing a bunch of tests. I highly suggest when you start doing this, start off with small batches. Say do like a 1 pound mix, and with that you'll be able to get a couple nice little bars. Get you a mold like this for one of those, and whenever you get to where you're happy with your recipe and your how you want to mix it, you can move up to one of these molds here. I got both of these off of Amazon. So now what I'm going to do with this to get the mix, I'll pour each one, go in each direction, and then I'll use a little popsicle stick and I'll swirl it inside there when I'm done. So just to give you an idea here, I'll do a quick couple of passes here. I say passes, but as thick as this is going to be a quicker mix than I wanted it to be. So I'll and make sure that when you do this that you have a clean workspace. I'm usually using this workspace for all kind of stuff, anything from doing soap to pouring resin to cleaning up 3D prints, which if you listen in the background you can hear the 3D printer going. Do quite a bit of things just for fun. Most of this is hobby, and I end up doing so much of it that's how Chris's gift shop started, was that I ended up making a little more than I needed to. A suggestion when you're doing this, every so often push down in it, because there will be air bubbles. Alright, and whatever I have left I'll probably make some hand soaps with. I have a little muffin mold, and literally that's exactly what it is a muffin mold. Silicone. I found that silicone molds work really good when doing soap. The plastic ones that they sell at like most of your craft stores, they're not bad, but I tend to have a harder time getting my soaps out of those. One thing that I've seen that they have suggested is putting it in that other pages have suggested is put it in a freezer for a little while. Now it's not finished, but you can get a good kind of glimpse here of what it looks like on the top. And what I do is tap it a couple of times. That helps get some of the air out. And put this last bit on. And with that, I'll push some of it down in there. This is obviously going to be a little more than I wanted to mix up, which is kind of good, because then you can get it down. Sorry, I keep getting off camera. And you can get it down into the corners. Some people do little designs and stuff like that across the top. since I'm mixing it, we're going to stir it with a popsicle stick. I don't plan on doing a design. I don't believe I've done any designs yet on any of the soaps that I've made so far. I don't have a whole lot left over that would be considered waste. Definitely not enough to make up another batch, but so I'm just going around, and this stuff is really thickened up already. So and I swear it smells like some kind of candy that I used to eat as a kid, and I cannot place it. I thought it was the Laffy Taffy banana flavored. I figured monkey farts, that would be the scent that it would give off, but other people have smelled it and they said that they can see why I thought it was that, but they don't feel it's the banana flavor. So, but anyway, as I said, the main reason I got this, one is I figure it's a good conversation piece whenever somebody walks up at a craft show, and two, I figured kids would get a kick out of it and be more apt to want to use it because monkey farts. And that's about as much of the waste that I'm going to end up having from this 2-pound block. And that's what it looks like as of right now. So you'll leave this in the mold for 24 hours, and then you'll take it out and you'll cut it up to whatever size you want it in. So this is going to go on the shelf. Most people suggest or say that you should put like plastic wrap over the top. What I do is I have a little shelf set up that I'll put this down. I have 2 more of these molds that I'll put on either side, and then I'll have a piece of cardboard that'll go over the top of that, and I'll drape a towel over it. Either way, if you put the plastic wrap over it or not, you are going to want to drape a towel over it. There's a couple of bars I've done in the past where I haven't done that, and they've kind of dried out on the top. Now it just makes for a dry spot on the soap. It's not damaging to the soap at all. So let me go put this over on the shelf, get it all covered and everything, and I'll grab a bar of soap and give you an idea on what I'm talking about. Okay, just to give you an idea, this is a bar I pulled yesterday. I didn't put the plastic over the top, and as you can see, the top is kind of dry. Nothing at all wrong with the bar of soap at all, just this looks kind of dry. So that's going to be the display side. Now, some people will test out their soap and see if they can get a good lather out of it whenever they pull it, and what they'll do is they'll use it at least once. That will moisten the dry area here to where it's easier, or where it won't have that white film. Okay, this is a bar that came out of one of these molds. Okay, so it's been 24 hours at least, or close enough, but I went ahead and popped it out of the mold. I should have showed you guys how to do it first, but initially, it's in here. You slide this piece out, and you sit it down on a flat surface, and you break the sides loose. Just pull it away from the soap. As soon as you have that, flip it over, and basically it just rolls right out. So now I'm going to show you what the block looks like. It's still kind of brittle, and as you can see, it started to harden up a little bit quick on me here, so I've got a little bit of air bubbles in here that I really didn't want. But I have this little jig here that I use to cut to put the soap in whenever I'm getting ready to cut it. I have it set for about 2.5 inches. So, or excuse me, 1.5 inch, sorry. And what I do is, I got my little cutter here. As you can see, it's the wavy one. I'll use that and I'll cut off the very end. I try not to cut off too much of it because I want to get as much soap out of this as I can, and this always happens, so give me 1 second here. Soap slid on me, if you're curious as to what I'm talking about. Alright, so start that. Alright, and there's the first piece off of it. So after I get that cut, you might ask me what I do with some of the scraps. I have a container that I put these in, and whenever it gets full, which it's getting there as you can see, I'll shred up some soap to put in there from time to time. But I'll do what they call a rebatch, or I'll use it for, I haven't done this yet, but people have called it confetti soap. I've tried doing a rebatch, but that's about as close to that as I've gotten. Alright, so now I'll slide it up to the little stop block on here. See if I can tilt it to where you can see it here. So I'll slide it up to that stop block, and then there you go. Other side has air bubbles in it. I don't like that, so with those air bubbles, you'll get those if it gets in the trace too much. And as you can see yesterday, whenever I was mixing it, I ended up getting into trace really quick. So that would be why it has the air bubbles in it. One reason why I try not to do a whole lot of swirl pours like this, because like I said, I'm still just starting, but I wanted to share with you guys and give you guys an idea on how I make my soap. Now this will take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to fully cure, and the way you figure that out, I have a little piece of paper that gives the ingredients, that I write the ingredients down on, as well as when the batch was made, as well as when it should be cured. And I'll give it about 2 to 3 weeks from the time it was poured before I start weighing them. And whenever you have at least 2 weeks to where the weight is the exact same, that is when you know the soap is fully cured. And got a nice little handbar left over there for myself. And one block, cutting it at 1.5 inches, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars out of it. Anyway, as I said, this is not the be-all end-all of soap tutorials, but one of my friends asked me how I made them, how I made the soap, and I wanted to do a video to show them. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, share, comment, subscribe. I don't do a whole lot of videos. I try to, but yeah, I get too excited about these projects and jump into them and forget all about recording. So I'm just glad this one I was able to continually record.